Olá, está no ar o CNN Freedom Project. Hoje vamos passar por um dos capítulos mais dramáticos da história recente, a crise migratória na Europa. Como o desespero de uns vira lucro para outros e por que muitas pessoas são literalmente leiloadas. Um homem fala com uma plateia oculta. Rapazes grandes e fortes para o trabalho agrícola, diz ele. 400. 700. 700? 800. Os números continuam. Esses homens são vendidos por 1.200 dinares líbios, cerca de R$1.200 cada. Você está vendo um leilão de seres humanos na Líbia. Em 2014, a correspondente da CNN, Nima El-Bagir, descobriu um esquema de venda de imigrantes em leilões.
We were actually covering the story of the beginning of the migrant crisis, and we were down in Sicily at a reception center, and this extraordinary Ethiopian migrant actually approached us and said to us, "You have to know what's happening in Libya." And he described this scene that was completely incomprehensible of people sitting on the ground in these warehouses and Libyan merchants, builders, farmers coming in and picking from amongst them and then being told that they had no choice but to go and be sold. And over the last 3 years, we began almost collating this testimony, just waiting for that window of opportunity when we could access these auctions.
Finalmente, esse vídeo chegou até a reportagem com o que parecia ser um leilão de escravos na Líbia. Um homem afirma ser um comprador. Por trás das câmeras é possível ouvir a pergunta: o que aconteceu com os do Níger? Esgotaram. Alguém responde.
We were obviously very aware of how huge an allegation this is and how important it was for, in addition to what he showed us, that we had to see for ourselves. We had to be able to say that we had borne witness to this. That's how we find ourselves here, waiting to see if we can get into an ongoing auction. We now understand that there are 2 separate auctions going on in this town that we're in and in a town only 20, 30 minutes away. And it looks like we will be able to go in and witness how this all happens.
Para garantir a segurança da fonte, não divulgaremos o local onde o leilão foi realizado. Na calada da noite, a equipe viaja por bairros suburbanos. Por fim, para em frente a uma casa comum. E aguarda. Finalmente é hora de ir. A equipe é levada para o leilão na parte de trás do pátio. Apesar da escuridão, é possível ver e ouvir tudo. Um a um, os homens são trazidos e os lances começam. 400, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700. Em instantes, o leilão chega ao fim.
I'm speechless. I don't know how to put this into words. There were human beings auctioning off other human beings. We were able to speak to 2 of those who we had seen auctioned off. But we didn't film it because it was so clear that these people were so incredibly traumatized. They couldn't engage with us. And then we had to accept that it was more dangerous to attempt to move them or attempt to try and get them to authorities. If anything, we probably would have ended up risking their lives, the lives of their contacts, the lives of the people we were staying with. And yeah, we had to make the decision to just to let them go.
Children and women present.
Milhares de pessoas chegam à Líbia todos os anos. São refugiados e imigrantes de diferentes regiões da África, que buscam uma vida melhor na Europa. Eles dependem de traficantes para ajudá-los na jornada até o Mediterrâneo. Conforme a Líbia aumenta a fiscalização, menos imigrantes chegam ao mar. Sem uma passagem segura pelo Mediterrâneo, traficantes os mantêm em depósitos e os vendem, caso haja superlotação, ou os imigrantes fiquem sem dinheiro. Muitos dos que escaparam da escravidão acabam em centros de detenção como este, em um cenário não muito melhor.
We are here to go down to Italy to make a better life for ourselves.
Estes homens foram traficados de países como Níger, Mali e Nigéria. Agora, depois de arriscarem tudo, eles aguardam a deportação para seus países de origem, voltando à estaca zero.
Take us home, we want to go home, take us home.
Victory for us was just the most amazing young man. He had been enslaved, he'd been ransomed off, and yet his voice was so clear.
Just take us home, we want to go home. No food, no water, nothing.
He grabbed us, like he caught our attention. He was like, I want to tell my story.
We know that some people are being sold.
Yes.
Some people are being sold. Is this something you've heard about? Can you tell us about that?
Sure.
Tell us.
I was sold.
What happened?
On my way coming, I was sold. So after I was sold, they asked me to they demand a ransom, which my mother looked for a way to pay that ransom. That person went away with the money. I was sold too. I was a victim.
What did they do to you?
If you look at most of the people here, if you check their body, you see the mark, they're beaten.
The issue with the detention facilities in Tripoli and in other parts of Libya is just that they are detention facilities. So there is no duty of care in terms of what you would expect for traumatized individuals. They have been freed by the Libyan authorities, and that's great. But while they're being processed and they are being held while waiting to be repatriated to their home countries, they are held behind bars.
Guys, please, can you give us the way a little bit? We are going inside. Please, give us the way.
Como supervisor do centro, o trabalho de Agnes Al-Azabi é cuidar dos imigrantes detidos. Sem apoio internacional, é um grande desafio cuidar das pessoas ali.
We need support for like these migrants. They are really suffering in detention center, missing a lot of stuff. As you can see, this person, since the day he come here, he's completely naked. We have nothing to offer for them. What is in my hand, I will give it to him. But which is not. We are completely stuck in this situation.
Have you seen any evidence or have you heard anything from any of the migrants that you supervise about these auctions, this auctioning off of migrants as slaves?
Honestly, we hear the rumors, but there is nothing is obvious in front of us. We don't have evidence to catch and prove that something has happened. But we hear the rumors, we hear the stories from migrants.
In a way, it was more difficult walking into there than it was walking to the auction, because you see people clamoring and everybody's shouting. Everybody feels like this is a moment. This is a moment where they can tell their story. This is a moment where maybe help will arrive.
I've been in this journey for the past 1 year and 4 months now. I've lost a lot. So going back home now, I'm totally frustrated. I don't know where to start from because I spent my life savings leaving the country. You understand? Go.
What was really eye-opening for us was that, yes, a lot of them were fleeing horrible situations, but also a lot of them were pursuing their dreams. A lot of them had risked everything for those dreams. Victory wanted to be a designer. That's amazing. And he should want to do that. That should be his right. And all of those we spoke to, they just want a way to pursue those dreams.
Como isso pode estar acontecendo nos dias de hoje? O que a comunidade internacional está fazendo contra a miséria que os imigrantes enfrentam durante a jornada perigosa? A reação no mundo foi de choque e horror com a divulgação do vídeo de leilões de escravos na Líbia. As pessoas foram às ruas quase que imediatamente.
The outcry, the sense of real rage on the streets in so many capital cities around the world has been incredible. It's been incredibly heartening to see. And my hope is, our hope is, that that pressure will not let up, that this won't be a moment where, you know, we retweeted, we regrammed, maybe we walked out on the street with a couple of placards, and now we move on. The international community knew that these auctions were being held. What changed is that the international outcry from people around the world forced them to acknowledge that they knew. Now they have to do something with that knowledge.
O governo líbio criou um comitê para investigar leilões de escravos em novembro de 2017, mas pediu mais apoio de outros países para lidar com o problema. Desde 2015, a Europa tem tentado controlar o afluxo de milhares de pessoas por mar, em meio a um crescente movimento anti-imigração. Ao fazer isso, muitos países endureceram suas políticas de fronteiras. Como parte do acordo da União Europeia em 2017, a Itália passou a ajudar a guarda costeira da Líbia e restringir os esforços de busca e resgate em partes do Mediterrâneo.
There is a moral complicity in knowing that people are continuing to make this journey and knowing that the measures that have been put in place between European countries like Italy and the Libyan Coast Guard to keep migrants in Libya are not only not working, but they are also adding to the misery of the migrants.
Really treating us badly is not something that we can be able to bear. It's unbearable.
This seemed to capture a moment in terms of the conversations that are being had about the rise of the far right, anti-immigration sentiment, isolationism in America and Europe. What was really meaningful for me in the middle of everything was the actual tangible results. Those detention centers are now being emptied out, whereas the International Organization of Migration only had the support of the UN and the international community to repatriate 1,000 migrants every month. In December, they were able to repatriate about 15,000 people. They're doing 3 to 4 flights a day, and that's amazing.
Para os imigrantes que arriscam tudo para chegar lá, voltar aos seus países de origem não é o que desejam.
Take us to Europe, not back to our country, because nothing in our country. There's nothing.
Nigeria. From Nigeria.
I'm from Nigeria.
I'm from Nigeria.
Our focus now is on the source countries, on what happens when you make that decision to try and get to Europe, but also what happens when they return. We want to go and trace those who have been repatriated. What does that look like when your family has sold everything and you come back empty-handed?
No próximo bloco, a correspondente internacional da CNN, Nima Bashir, vai à Nigéria para descobrir como é a volta para casa. Daqui a pouco. O estado de Edo, na Nigéria, é praticamente um centro de tráfico humano. E é para lá que nossas equipes desembarcam para entender como começa o sonho de quem quer chegar à Europa. A equipe da CNN chega ao principal centro de tráfico da Nigéria, onde os traficantes atuam abertamente. A repórter Nima Bashir espera que este homem possa levá-la à Europa. Evek, como ele se apresenta, é um agente, que eles chamam aqui de Pushman. Ele faz parte de um grupo de traficantes que trabalha no lado nigeriano da rota de imigrantes para a Europa.
The best way to look at this is as a transnational criminal network that not only creates its own supply, but also feeds the demand. So in Nigeria, you have these pushermen, as they're called, these brokers for the smugglers, who are going around selling these people the dream.
Ele diz à equipe que pode fazer isso por 500 mil nairas, cerca de $1.000 cada um. O dinheiro é pago na chegada à Líbia. Impaciente, ele pede para não ter seu tempo desperdiçado. A equipe recebe a orientação de voltar ao hotel, onde aproveita para testar as câmeras escondidas. Finalmente, a reportagem é chamada para ir até Auchi, no norte de Edo. Nessa noite, Evek está trabalhando em um hotel que também funciona como bordel. No bordel, a equipe é orientada a aguardar, sem saber o que espera, totalmente sem informações. Mas, de repente, estão em movimento. Começa a jornada para a Europa. Em um terminal de ônibus, a equipe é informada que embarcará rumo ao norte. Mas antes, Evek quer saber se nossa repórter tem tudo o que precisa.
Like, what is it called? Like when I say here, they have motorcycle here. They have motorcycle, they have keys. You know keys? You know keys? They have keys here. You just have them in your bag. So, it's a journey. So just have it there.
So we can't travel without the contraception?
You get them from you. Okay. You get them. You're not paying, but you need to get it from you.
As part of...
Yes, part of the journey.
Part of the journey, you'll get it from us. Because the women are abused. What happens? The women are abused on the trip?
In Libya.
In Libya? What happens? They get pregnant?
That's why he's telling you to have those things. It's not a guarantee. Sometimes, you know, we have to meet one of them. Like see somebody and say, I would like to assist you. You know what I mean? Don't tell me you don't know what I'm saying.
Ele chama a nossa correspondente num canto e fala de novo. Preservativos. Não resista se for estuprada e, acima de tudo, confie em Deus. Depois disso é feito o embarque e as portas se fecham. A partir daí, começa uma jornada que promete uma série de horrores. Estupro, tráfico, escravidão sexual. Quando o ônibus sai da vista de Evek, a equipe desembarca em segurança.
So, if we had stayed on that bus, we would be on our way to Kano now in the north of Nigeria, sometime the middle of the day, 2, 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. We would be arriving in Kano. From Kano, somebody would have been waiting to take us on the next leg of the journey to Agadez, and from Agadez through to Libya. And in theory, on arrival in Libya, that's when the brokers get paid. it is incredible that it is so public. It's incredible that it's so brazen, that they're using public transport to start this leg of the journey. This is the most trafficked through destination in Africa. It is the main departure point for so much of these smuggling routes, and yet these brokers are able to ply their trade so openly. And to think that as a woman, they would expect me to be carrying contraception, they would expect me to have made my peace with the fact that at almost every leg of this journey, I would be assaulted and raped and abused. It is unimaginable that people are willing to take these risks to make it to Europe.
A CNN contatou as autoridades nigerianas. Em resposta, o procurador-geral do estado de Edo divulgou a seguinte declaração: estamos ativamente envolvidos na investigação e iniciamos vários processos. Investigaremos ativamente e processaremos todos os traficantes. O tráfico em Edo não se trata apenas de questões econômicas, nem de subdesenvolvimento, mas tem raízes culturais profundas que devem ser expostas, examinadas e arrancadas.
What was really powerful for me was when we asked the migrants who had been enslaved, who had been tortured, whether they would do this again. And they all said yes. There was like a clamor of people saying yes. So it's important to bear in mind that they know what they're facing, they know what they're up against, and they're choosing to do it anyway. Benin City in Nigeria is the trafficking capital of the country. It's one of the most trafficked from departure points in the whole continent. It's where tens of thousands of young people, men and women, head off for their dream of Europe. It's also where tens of thousands of them are returned to with that dream shattered. And today, we're hoping to meet one of those returnees.
Just take us home.
Na última vez que vimos Victory, ele estava no chão em um centro de detenção na Líbia, recém-resgatado da escravidão, implorando para ser mandado para casa. Agora ele está de volta à Nigéria.
How do you feel coming back here?
Lots of them lost their life there, so I'm happy that I didn't lose my life. So I'm back home now. For me, I can also take on that step, so I'm happy.
Victor é responsável por sua mãe e 3 irmãos. A mãe diz ter vergonha de mostrar o rosto e admitir que estava desesperada a ponto de permitir que seu filho arriscasse tudo para tentar chegar à Europa. Victor mora na rua, com medo de sobrecarregar a mãe, pois é outra boca para ela alimentar.
I don't have to come here to sit down with them, eat with them, where there's not even much food to eat. So I just have to face it everything on my own, instead of adding to their own issue.
Victor diz que a vida deles está pior desde que ele voltou. Mas isso não significa que ele vai desistir.
Because anything I do, I always do it because of them. I believe that when there's somebody tomorrow, I have to be somebody or my children. So that's just it. Just want to do something with my life, so just move on with my life. That's just it.
Quantos outros, como Victor, tentarão a jornada para a Europa? Talvez dezenas de milhares, muitos retornando à pobreza que pode ser ainda mais desumana do que os horrores enfrentados na Líbia.
This is a conversation that is very difficult to have. There is no easy solution to this. But the reality is that if you don't find a solution, then you need to accept that there is moral culpability at every single level for what these people are going through. We as a civilized world, I think we need to find a way to address that growing disparity and perhaps see people for their humanity and give them the right to have ambitions. At home in
Em casa, na Nigéria, Victor ainda sonha em ser designer. Ele tem esperança de que sua história terá um final feliz e que, assim como fez na Líbia, encontrará forças para sobreviver. O tráfico de imigrantes fatura mais de 6,5 bilhões de dólares por ano. Um negócio arriscado que pode levar à morte quem só sonhava com uma vida mais digna. O CNN Freedom Project de hoje fica por aqui. Até a próxima.
CNN Freedom Project. Apoio. CCR. Transformando vidas e cidades. Isso é mobilidade humana.
No próximo domingo, no CNN Freedom Project. Em Myanmar, a violência contra a minoria muçulmana do país provocou uma fuga em massa para Bangladesh.
They have no identity, they have no nationality. It's the worst scenario.
Em um cenário que parece terra sem lei, traficantes de pessoas atuam quase sem restrições.
So this girl is missing.
Missing.
What's happened to the girl?
The 8 girls are taken, one broker up to the India.
CNN Freedom Project. Comigo, Carlos Tramontina. Próximo domingo, 9h30.